Next, we have Ryan. I could have just looked to my right. We have Ryan Macklin, and he is presenting on how people are never logical. You may recognize him from previous years. Oh yeah, I'm going to move it for you.
Fantastic. You still need the time while you're moving equipment. That's just not fair. Hi, so yeah, I'm Ryan Macklin, and while I fill some dead air while I'm hooking this in, so the point of this, okay, that's not actually broadcasting right now, so we'll just wing it. I often hear, rad. So I often hear otherwise well-meaning developers, product managers, and even other writers sometimes say that they can't just be logical. That tells me they follow the same misleading concept of logical versus emotional that contributes to so much anti-empathy and hostile design that exists in our vastly interconnected and independent technological world. So let's boil down in our speedrun talk of what emotions, what they are physically in the body. There are a huge range of conditions and reactions from neurochemical activity caused by sensory and cognitive stimuli to super boil it down. So, I see a spider, fear from a jolt of adrenaline from my amygdala to quickly react. I see a friend get laid off. This has happened a lot lately. Sympathy, comes from the chemical reactions geared toward preserving community, which is itself part of our survival instincts that are ingrained in us. And I see a trailer with Jared Leto in it. I have a flood of conflicting reactions that overwhelm my brain to where I can't even. So if I try to use some complicated process or resolve some technical issue while under an activated or distracted or distressed state of mind, you could expect me to not be 100% focused, right? Yeah. Hopefully. So if you think that being logical means having full focus and clarity, no. So what does it mean for a squishy human brain to be logical? Well, we're not software, we're not mass-produced hardware, we're all running off of our own unique and continually adapted rigs based on neurochemical interactions. And there's going to be a fantastic talk about trauma and documentation tomorrow that I am super hyped for. And so you're going to get a much deeper dive on that, I'm sure. So logical, quote unquote, and quote unquote highly emotional are a part of the same set of internal experiences. They're operating on the same set of squishy meatware is what I like to call it. And it's not as clear-cut or divided as many people would love them to be, especially in the way that our world works with a very engineering-oriented culture with I would say, fetishization on being logical. So states here's some states that we sometimes associate with logical, which is curiosity. It's where the brain seeks chemical rewards through discovery. Smugness is feeling defensive in a communal context where you look for ways to be superior in order to preserve yourself from a survival standpoint. Boredom is where you have significantly lower neurochemical energy to engage your brain. Other versions of boredom, but that's one. Challenge is where you're trying to overcome something in your path that would be itself also neurochemically rewarding because you have accomplished or achieved something, because we're driven to do that. Dispassionate is another sort of thing similar to boredom, where the moment just isn't engaging you. Things like that. We all work off the same meatware spec, which is stimuli in, reaction out. And you can see some of these even say understandably blah, because sometimes we'll feel what someone calls an emotion, but be like, oh, they're understandably angry. It's there's a lot to unpack about that I won't have time for. So again, all of this runs off the same meatware. Stimuli in means that some sort of reaction is gonna come out. Now, that reaction could be highly activated, that reaction could be kind of chill, but whatever it is all the same process. It's just different results of the same process. We just happen to culturally privilege some of those and punish other ones, which is BS. So what does that mean here for us today, though? Because it's, high concept talk in a speed run. It means that if we're not actually designing user experiences or writing for humans, we're not actually doing that if we reduce them to they are or are not emotional. Rather than embrace all these cognitive states, we're intertwined in the same sort of collection of neurochemical interactions running off of the same temperamental, flawed, glitchy meatware. These are all interconnected. You can't really separate them. With the irony that I'm being reductive about talking about reduction. So yeah, thank you. That's all the time I have for my speed run. I'm Ryan Macklin. I'm on various places on here, and I'm also part of the Good Docs Project. Thank you very much.